Hi, this is Alex with Zeta Sky. This is a training video on how to use a Mac. This video will be going into the dock and the settings for the dock. The dock is down here. It's sort of like the taskbar of Mac. It's a little bit different. Some of the functions of the taskbar are up here in the menu bar. The dock here is mainly for accessing apps. So the different apps are down here, and I'll explain the different sections here. So this first section on the left are the apps that I've told it to keep on the dock. So these will just always be here unless I remove them. So for example, if I wanted to remove Spotify from the dock here, all I would have to do is just drag it off the dock, and it's no longer on the dock. Let's say I wanted to add Spotify back to the dock. So I'll open up Spotify. I don't really need to keep it open, so I'm going to go and close it. But you'll see it shows up down here. Now this section here is the recent apps section. It will show you the last few apps that you've opened or have opened that are not docked. So for example, I do not have Spotify open, but it's the most recent app I opened, so it's sitting right here in the recent section of the dock. Now, I just deleted it earlier, or not deleted it, but I removed it from my dock. And eventually, if I open up a couple more apps, it will disappear from the recent section here. But I want to keep Spotify here, so I'm going to just drag it over to the left side. Now it's going to stay on this dock. Now, there's also another way of doing it. If you right-click on an icon, go to Options, you can select Keep in Dock, and that'll move it over for you and keep it in the dock. You also have the option of right-click, Options, Remove from Dock, and that'll just remove it. The last section here is your trash. You can empty your trash by right-click Empty Trash. You can also open your trash by clicking on it. And your downloads. So this will be your download section. If you click on it, it'll pop up with all your recent downloads here. Or you can also just open up Finder in your downloads folder, and it'll take you straight to it. You may notice these little dots down here under some of the applications. What that dot means is that the program is actually open. So again, let's open up Spotify, and you'll notice as it opens, a little dot immediately pops up here. If you've seen the window versus program video, you understand that if I close this window, Spotify continues to run, even though there's no windows open, and you'll see that still the little dot is here. Now I can hit Command Q to quit, or click on Spotify and quit Spotify, like I've shown in other videos. But another option you have is right-click on Spotify and then quit. And you'll notice that in a second, there goes the dot. That means it's not open. Now, you may notice that my dock is probably quite a bit smaller than yours, and it's maybe laid out a little bit differently. Well, the dock has several preference settings where you can change it to match your needs. So to get there, you go to the Apple menu, System Preferences, and then you go to the Dock section. And this will show you the options. So the first thing is you see the size slider, and that can adjust how big it is. It can be really tiny or really large. Now the max size also kind of depends on your resolution and how many icons you have here. You may notice at the top end, it's not really resizing here. That's because I have too many things in the dock for it to get larger. If I go down to here, it gets to the point where it can actually start changing sizes because I don't have too many things in the dock for there. So I can just slide this left and right. It gets bigger or smaller. I'm going to put it right? Well, I'm going to make it a little bigger for the videos so it's easier for you to see. Position on screen, you can decide where it shows on the screen. So right now it's bottom, but I can put it on the left side of the screen, and it's actually on a different monitor, so I can't really show you that one. But if it's on the left, it'd be right here, and if it's on the right, it would be over here. Unfortunately, I have monitors on both sides of this screen, so it's going to the different monitors. But if I put bottom, it goes down here. So if you mess with that yourself, you'll see what left and right looks like. It's literally the same thing, just put to the side. Now, because I have this many icons and I have it this large right now, it's automatically going to resize it so that it fits. So there's less vertical space, so I won't be able to make it as large as I can at the bottom. But it all depends on what you prefer. For me personally, I put it on the left, but that just fits my setup. I have 4 monitors. Most people don't have that. So, put it wherever makes the most sense for you. The reason why a lot of people prefer left or right is because it gives you more screen space for applications if it's on the left or right. So if I open up Edge, you'll see that the dock takes up space. And because it's so large, I'm losing a lot of space, vertical space, which is already more limited than horizontal space on a monitor. And so some people like putting on this side, but that's totally preference. You may want to keep it at the bottom because that's more familiar with using Windows. It's totally up to your preferences. Now, let's say you want to keep it on the bottom, but you want that extra screen space. Well, you can do full screen and do that. But another option you have is you can have it automatically hide the dock. And that option is right here. Automatically hide and show the dock. So if I turn that on, it hides itself. Now, if I need to get to the dock, I just move my mouse down there and it shows up. I can reopen Edge. And then with it gone, if I double click on the title bar to resize it, it takes up that space where the dock was down here. And so I can still get to the dock, but it's not taking up screen space. So some people like having it auto hide. I personally prefer not doing that, but that is totally a personal preference. These other settings, this is just a graphics effect when you go to minimize a window. And actually, I want to discuss minimizing windows because that's relevant to the dock here. So you'll notice if I minimize this window, it has this animation, and that's what that setting is. That animation that you just saw is the genie effect. Could do scale effect. And it just kind of slides a little bit faster, but it doesn't look as cool. So it does it both ways, and you can pick whatever you prefer. By default, it's Genie, but it doesn't make a big difference. You can set if you want to prefer tabs in different sections here. This double click to zoom is what I was showing you where it maximizes the window when you double click on the title bar. You can change it to minimize based on your preferences. Right now, you'll notice when I minimize an icon, it minimizes to this right section here in between downloads and trash. These are windows that are open but minimize, and this is the default behavior. It'll show it over here. You still have the little dot here showing you that it's open, and you can click on it and it'll open the app. But if you have multiple windows open, it might not open up the one you want. So I'll click on it, and it just takes a guess and opens one of them. But, maybe I wanted this one instead. So in that case, you can, if they were different pages, you could look at the icon and notice that they're different. So, like, if I go to Google and minimize, you can see that's Google as a new tab page. So I can just click on them and bring them up. So that can be useful. But one downside of this method is you may notice it keeps expanding my dock. And so it'll have to keep shrinking icons to fit it on the screen. If I want things to be more compact in the dock, there's minimize windows into application icon. You can turn this on. And so when I minimize this, instead of going over here, it's just going to minimize into the icon here. So I minimize it, and it just drops into here. And you notice that it's not over here. I can't click over here to bring it up. I can still click here and bring it up. But if I had multiple windows, I wouldn't have a choice of which window. So it's a trade-off. But, you know, whichever you prefer, go with that. So there's other options here. The show indicators for open applications, that's the little dot. I suggest you keep that on, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, but you have the option of turning it off if you want. And then there's the recent applications in dock. That's this section right here. If you turn that off, it'll free up a little bit of space. It removes this section, the recent application section. It'll still show open apps after the ones you have docked permanently on the dock, but it no longer separates them. So that's just something to be aware of. This is the default setup, but feel free to change however you prefer. And you may notice the theme. These are all preferences and things that are just whatever works best for you. But if you have any questions or want to change a setting but you're not sure where it's at, let us know and we can help you.